What is up, Internet? It's your boy Tenku. And today we're going to be talking about manga that is pretty much revolved around politics. It does have some fighting scenes and stuff in there like that, but its main focus is like basically political. But it's very intriguing, so it's actually a really good read. And it's not like politics like Western politics or crap like that. It's actual like inner workings of bloodlines and royalty because it's like kind of medieval-ish. So with that said, before we started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like those videos, watch those videos, and comment in the comment section down below. And with all that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be talking about a manga called Risou No Himo Seikatsu. And here's the synopsis for it. Summoned by a beautiful woman to a different world, Yami Zenjiro is asked to marry her and make a child with her. Will he throw away his life on Earth for a sponger life with a beautiful woman? So that is the description. It's it's isekai. So, but there's not a lot of fighting. There's fighting and stuff like that, but it's like a little political between like families and things like that. Almost kind of Game of Thrones-ish, but done better, especially the last two seasons. You know what I mean? So it revolves around our main character, Zenjiro Yami. He's the main guy. He gets summoned to this kingdom it's very kind of Middle Eastern-ish almost, very dark-skinned, very fair, dark-skinned people, by Aurora Kapua. And she's the queen, so it's a matriarchy, so she's the queen. But the way that this kingdom works is that as long as you're part of the royal family, you can kind of have a stick to the throne. So like, she is very smart, very bright, stays ahead, that's why she's queen, that's why it's a matriarch right now. But there's people that are coming at her to try to like usurp her, but yeah, that's very political, and so she's basically the strongest political person. So instead of being thwarted into a marriage with another person, and she's trying to get her from the throne, she's trying to make an heir with somebody from the outside, which is why she summoned Yami. So Yami agrees and decides he's going to be there. Okay, so that's cool. He brings over some stuff from his world, generators, things like that, some luxuries that Freya was going to miss, books so he could learn how to fix generators, stuff like that. And he gives him this kind of technology. He even teaches him how to make glass, which is a huge thing, and even increases his wife's, the queen's, reputation and prestige and all that stuff. And so he's the king technically, but they call him like the king regent basically. So he's like the position of a queen would be if it was a monarchy, but it's not. If it was a patriarchy, but it's not. It's a monarchy. So he knows his place. So he really stays in the royal section of the palace where only the royals can go and certain maids, because he doesn't want to get in his wife's way. He wants to fulfill his role, which is to give her a child. And it's very political and him trying to stay out of the way, but he gets dragged into things because he is the king. And so the way he handles himself, he's actually very smart, and he always works it out to where he always makes his wife look good. And because he loves her, he fell in love with Aurora, and Aurora fell in love with him. And so, as the king, there are certain expectations of him. Like, he's supposed to take on, what do you call them, side pieces? I forgot what they call them in the manga. Or he's supposed to be part of political marriages, because polygamy is not a thing here. They do political marriages all the time. So a king or a queen would have multiple husbands, or a king would have multiple wives. The problem is they fell in love with each other and they don't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that to her because he's like wholly dedicated to her. But that's when you come with Freya. Freya is a princess from another kingdom, like a Nordic type kingdom, Viking-esque-ish almost. Very cold, very subtle, but they got a strong navy. And of course, the kingdom that Yami's the king of is not. So he knows that to make an alliance with them and things like that, he's gonna have to marry this girl. And this girl's very smart. She's a captain of a fleet, even though she's a princess, and she actually falls for Yami. And much to their dismay, even his wife is like, Aurora's just like, we got to do it for this alliance. Like, I know you're dedicated, I get it, but you got to do this political marriage thing, and so we can get access to these ships, because she's promising to give him the technology for ship making and all that stuff. And so he's like, all right. So there's a big thing going on with him, Freya and Freya's guard, and they go on this adventure, and that's when you see a lot of fighting and stuff in there, because there's stuff like beasts that are trampling over towns, so he has to go and oversee that, even though he's not a big fighter. Bandits, things like that, and he's been in charge going to these different towns in the kingdom to try to settle these stuff. And then the last thing I want to talk about is they call it the Twin Kingdoms. It's a kingdom ruled by two families. So there's basically two sets of kings, kind of two sets of queens. But there's one above, like the main king queen, and then there's like a sub king and queen from the two families. And that's when Bona and Francisco come into play. And the thing is, the reason why there's two families, because one is great at healing magic, the best at healing magic ever. So they're one side of the power, and then their power is the enchantment magic users. So they can enchant weapons and stones. So that's how they get like water and fire and lights, all this stuff. They enchant the stones with the magic, so they can get lights and all that good stuff. And so they're the two powers in there, and they've signed this agreement where they're gonna share everything, they commit everything, and they're gonna have one ruler above them. So it's very, very interesting, and you're not supposed to mix blood at all. Well, I mean, obviously through happenstance and generations, Francisco actually can use healing magic as well as the enchantment magic. So he can no longer be part of the throne because it has to be kept secret. And it wasn't through any nefarious reasons; it just happened through naturally. Because you find out that the Twin Kingdom is the descendants of another summoned person. So the summoned people. So basically, Yami has power. He just doesn't know how to use it, and he's trying to learn how to use magic, which is one of the reasons why the queen chose him, because she has time magic, which is basically summoning magic. She can summon people, and then she can teleport stuff. They call it time magic, but it's more like teleportation magic, and he has a strong sense of that in there. So she's trying to keep her bloodline magic, which is the teleporting, the summoning, and be able to control time a little bit, within her own bloodline, and not get it mixed with the other politicians that want to take over her kingdom and so on, so her family bloodline stays on top. So it's very interesting, very intriguing, guys. It's a good read. It's not licensed, so you got to go out there and got to find it, but I did find a lot of information on it, and it's very good, very intriguing. So tell me what you guys think. You guys think crazy? Is the whole political thing not your thing? Even though it's like a different type of political stuff, let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, you can always hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, with all the good stuff. And remember, guys, if you like this type of videos, every step I'll throw some up in the corner. And if you can't trust the fat guy you met on the internet, then who can you trust? And everybody have an awesome, awesome day.